Hey folks, Kevin and Thea here.
Hi you guys, good to see you on the day before the new year.
Very exciting. So we hope everyone's having a wonderful holiday break, if you're a break from doing things and all, and looking forward to a new year coming up. Really cool. So
And don't forget to tell them it's our anniversary today.
they can hardly hear you, I think, when you whisper, honey.
Oh, I'll say it louder. It's our anniversary today. 42 years and change.
Yeah. Hopefully I get off with some good time. You know?
Silly Billy.
So I guess really just want to be thankful for all of the wonderful things that that we've been involved in, and recently so many comments and so many views since the root cellar video here a few days ago. I'm not sure why all of a sudden that video got seen by a few thousand views anyways, but we're real thankful for all of the wonderful things that have developed over the years, and we thought what we do is reflect a little bit on 2023. So
Yeah.
do you want to go ahead and start, hon?
Yes, I guess overall, just generally, I'm really happy with 2023. As far as getting things done, we got tons of stuff done, and we're still kind of fine-tuning, you know, what is important to us for the next 20 plus more years, and what we really want to do, both having fun and projects. So this last year, I think it gave us a full year after my retirement of being able to see what it's really like, both of us being home, and what we would like, you know, to do. But we did a lot of things. Sometimes you forget it, and then you see a video and you go, oh yeah, that was this year, so that was good.
Yeah. So there's at least a full year of adjustments after you've retired. You're after so many years of working and having the social interactions and responsibilities and all that, you know, especially in a veterinary practice, you are never completely free, even as a general practitioner, right? You know?
Right, because even when you go home, you're worried about the sick cat or dog. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I've been retired for 10 years now, or a little bit longer, and so I made the adjustment pretty well. But it was really, really tough when I retired as well. Just trying to adjust to a whole new set of responsibilities, and letting go of a lot of older responsibilities that we had. But yeah, this last year, I would say all right. So my personality is one where I'm never completely satisfied with what I get done in a day, and that's Birdie up there if you hear her in the background, a Red Lord Amazon, and a parrot, and so I've always felt like I need to go and get more stuff done. That's been part of my innate characteristics my whole life. So, but I'm easing into accepting, okay, this is what I got done, this is what happened, something broke down, or the weather, or it's too wet to do some things. You know, I find it more easy and more settling. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So that's good, but it's one of the things I would say with starting the YouTube channel, because my goal initially was to share, to inform, to share what we're doing, and hopefully to inspire people as well. You know, to that they can do anything, and we'll be making more videos on homesteading in the near future. I've just posted a couple of articles on our website, mindfullivingsanctuary.com. And what I would say is that that's a big part of who we are. We're still trying to decide what we're going to do for, I'm going to call it a landing video. So people who are new to our channel, we can just sort of self-describe what to expect on the channel because there's so many things that I've been interested in, and I'm not into doing the big icons for the videos or doing lots of extra stuff. I want to get down to minimalistic recordings and all, even though it's not what's most appreciated and most entertaining this day and age. I recognize that. But we find when we look at a couple of our older videos, and I'm not even talking about that long ago, just a couple of years ago, and I look at the work, how much we've accomplished in a couple of years, I'm really pleased. A bit surprised at times as well, especially when we go up and do some drone shots, some aerial videos.
Yeah. And we modify things. We would have a project and we do it, and then after we've done it like a year, it's not like we got rid of it, but we said, if we change or tweak this a little bit, I think it will work better. Like the rain gutters, for example, and using IBC totes, and where we really want a pond, and do we, want to finish a couple of other projects, or will they hold until we get the more important one done, which are the land ones.
Right. So, like, one of the things I complain about in the videos is how muddy it is around here, and I'm the one responsible for creating those mud pie situations. And we both enjoy watching Mike and Melissa Morgan from Outdoors with the Morgans. And Mike is always saying he hates mud, and I always picture Mike pulling down the driveway here and not refusing to get out of his truck because our roads here and all are so muddy. They didn't used to be when I first built them and all. It was nice gravel roadways and all, but over time, as we built up built soil and grew the crops and grew all of the materials we have around, and all the wood chip work that we've done, the soil has grown so much that the depth of the soil has exceeded the height of the driveway, the gravel driveway. So now it turns to dirt on the top of it, and so that's a big project I've got to work on in the future. And I'm trying to decide when to try and tackle it. There's some stuff I'm going to have to do next year, get some gravel in, and but eventually I want to do stone, and stone is much more expensive because the limestone mines are further away, and it's pretty expensive this day and age as well. But that's one big project that I want to do in the future. The greenhouse is still going to wait a while, even though it's been on hold here. I mean, I took that down 11 years ago from the BOCES vocational school in Mexico, New York. That was in 2012. I took that building down. And so there's things that we put on hold, and some of the renovations with our home have been on hold. But when push comes to shove, like this fall, one of the big things, or this beginning of winter, getting the workshop opened up so that we could get the equipment in there was a big priority. And so we got that done, so that's great. And we did get the roadways in, and we got over to the new property. And there's a lot more to be done. We've got a lot of clearing to do over there, and then we're going to be reforesting the area. So one of the things is the approach that we take is trying to envision what we're going to be creating ultimately down the road, and that's always subject to change. But when we're working on a piece of property, we have our dreams of, okay, we want this reforested and all, but that means I've got to work on the land and get the waterworks set first and get the access roads set first. Those couple of things have to be done first, and then doing the appropriate grading, then doing the reforestation after I've got the ponds and the areas, the roads, all of those things in, so that I'm not having to undo things that I've done in the future. It's sort of a big to-do list. And there'll be a couple of articles about the approaches that I have when I'm doing the development as well. So I've got a whole bunch of draft articles that I haven't posted yet. Still have to do a little more work with them, but during these winter months, one of my goals is to get some more of those articles up so that when people have questions in videos, I can always refer them to what's my approach for the stages, what phases I go through with property development, what equipment I think is right for certain properties as well. The types of gardening that we do, like we do lots of permanent raised beds, and we love those. We've used drip irrigation and weed mats, and we do everything organically here. So those are things that we found that have been very successful. But over the last couple of years, I've started doing cover crops, and that's really worked out a great deal. Yeah. So and living pathways. And there's a lot of work to be done to refine these things, but I'm pretty happy with what we've got done so far.
And growing the things that like we would like to eat, and then share, excess, with. I mean, we really, instead of buying fruit and stuff at the store, we have so many trees, fruit trees of different kinds, and my job is kind of seems to be more the nursery area and taking care of the fruit when it's harvested, and that's kind of all summer long, because you start with asparagus and strawberries, and then you keep on going through blueberries and etc., and then apples more in the fall, and all those types, and getting them all set, to bag up and freeze or can with that.
So I recently, for those of you who are new to the channel here, I recently posted a video on the root cellar and got comments of, gosh, it's so far away, the root cellar, and there's so many empty canning jars there that we have in the root cellar. It wasn't always that way. I used to harvest so many bushels and bushels and bushels, so we have, well over 100 apple trees on the property, different varieties that produce at different times. We have persimmons, we have pawpaws, we have all different sorts of berry bushes. We have pecans, almonds, butternuts, different types of walnuts as well. Some of those are just coming into producing their nuts, but the fruit have been being produced, with the exception of pawpaws. We got lots of pawpaw trees that are ready, that flower, but because we have such a wonderful integrated pest management, meaning that we built hedgerows and habitats around our gardens and around our living spaces, that keeps all the flies and mosquitoes under control. So it's very pleasant to be here, but some of the pollinators for the pawpaws, the flies that are necessary, they actually get
the birds eat them.
The birds eat them. So, but like what Thea was saying is, we produce more on our property than two people could ever consume. And I used to harvest, and then I'd be bringing 5-gallon buckets out back for the deer during the winter months and all that. And when you're dredging through deep snow, that's a no-go at times. So it's what we're going to do is realize we don't need as much as we used to need, or I believed we need. We always had excess, but it works out well. And I did get a couple questions about, or comments about how far away the root cellar is. We really believe in exercise. So the activities that we do, going up and down our spiral staircase in our home, or going up and down the stairs in the office of the workshop area there, or going up and down the stairs in the root cellar, or walking around in the various food forests. This is an essential thing for maintaining good health throughout however long we do live in life. Exercise is so important. And it's because we're walking through food forest areas, you're communing with nature at the same time when we're going to these buildings. And one of the main reasons that I put the root cellar where I put it was because I always planned for the possibility of a significant fire. So we have, you probably can't see in this video right now, but we have lots of canned goods behind us here. There's more in the other room as well. and there's some in a closet as well. So we have an abundance of food in here. Then we have another building that has a root cellar. In our garage, we have several freezers and refrigerator freezer. In our workshop, we have freezers and refrigerator freezers. It's having redundancy has been a part of my whole development over time. Having a backup to your backup is how I've prepared throughout life. And that's what a video I posted recently as well is, questions people would ask me, are you a prepper? Because we have so many backup energy sources here on our property. And am I always thinking about being prepared? Am I situational awareness, is that pretty peaked? Yes, those things. But I recently wrote an article about the difference between, the way I see the difference between a prepper, a survivalist, and a modern day homesteader. And I think of us as being modern day homesteaders, but they all overlap to a certain extent as well. They're tightly integrated, but there's distinct differences as far as goals and tools that you use, and the skills that you develop over time. You may maintain a more diverse knowledge space. In other words, your intellectual capacity is overlapping. But I see it as being somewhat separate as far as description. That's why I wrote that article. So redundancy is really important, whether it's power, whether it's water, it's home security, whether it's your food resources, good fresh air to be able to breathe. All of those things are real important. And there'll be an article coming up soon that I've written about those as far as choosing a site for your homestead. If you're in the mindset of where should I choose, there's crime, there's kids that I want to raise, I want to homeschool someplace. It's about the community. I don't want to be too far from friends and family. A whole variety of different things. And then there's the climate change issues. Well, in 20 years from now, where's going to be a really good, safe place to live? What about droughts? What about severe weather events and all? So those are all topics I'll be including in one recent article and future articles that I've got drafts on as well. So what else, honey?
I don't know, we covered so much already.
I think so. I probably talked your ear off today and all, but we're just very thankful and very appreciative for your viewing and your support by sharing and leaving comments. I always find that helpful as well.
And also knowing that there's other people out there who are interested in the same type of things we are interested in. It just makes a community, and watching other people with similar interests. Video from Tim's World.
Yeah.
There, and
shout out to Tim from Tim's World.
And Outdoors with the Morgans. They're kind of the other extreme.
Right, yeah.
And we're kind of in the middle. So I mean, for me, I just want to live a peaceful life. I want animals around me. I want plants around me, and nature, and just a place where people and friends can kind of come and chill out, once in a while, and also a place where we can, instead of always going to the store to get food and things, we have plenty here.
Yeah.
And because if everything was shut down, we could live for weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
And weeks with just being frugal and figuring out what we're going to eat when. So it's nice to have a backup, and even the root cellar. How far away is that root cellar?
A few hundred feet. It's really nothing.
Yeah.
I would say I'll mention one other thing. In 2003, we had a ice storm in the spring of 2003, and the ice storm wiped out so many trees on our property, and there's so many trees that are still damaged from that ice storm, and that ice storm we were without power for I think 10 days.
10 days,
Yep.
and that's before we had the generator, right?
That's before we had the big generator. I had a small portable one that you take 5 gallons of gas and you'd fill it up every once. I think it was a a 5,000 kilowatt generator and all. And we did just fine.
We did have a hot tub in the house at that time, and we used the water in that to flush the toilets.
Yeah. So we did fine, but our home is a passive solar home, so it's super easy to heat. It's super insulated, has a large thermal mass, a large battery underneath the floor and all. So it's super energy efficient.
Right, you better explain, not a battery, but.
Well, it's a stone bed, and I have videos on the thermal mass system. But what it is, so the peak of our ceiling is 25 feet in the living room here, and the camera is actually sitting on top of a wood stove, and it's 30 degrees outside, and it's nice and comfortable, 78 degrees in here. But what it does is when the sun comes and the sun comes in all of our southern windows here. So this faces away from the road. The road, we have one window that faces north. And so people were always wondering, you got your house backwards, the windows should be towards the road. And I always thought, no, passive solar energy, we want the sun coming in here. And as the heat rises, we have two chimneys, one on either side of the central chimney for the wood stove. And those chimneys suck the air down underground into a large thermal mass battery. It stores heat underground, and
those two chimneys, because doesn't go out like the center one.
Right.
It only goes to the top of the ceiling. So where all the hot air goes to the top of the ceiling. So when Kevin's saying it's sucking in, it's not sucking from outside. It's
That's
just
right.
coming from the top of the living room.
And we have cool air ducts outside that can bring in fresh air as well. But basically the rate of heat loss is minimal in this house due to super insulated, and the rate of heat retention and management is optimized by the chimney system and the thermal mass under the ground. So it takes a long time for the temperature in the house to make any big changes. And because we have an overhang and shade trees on the south side of our house remains fairly cool during the winter months, because that thermal mass will bring summer months. It'll bring the cooler air. That's in the, let's say in the 60s and 70s up into the living space when it's over 90 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So I have a whole video on us building this home, and my brother Dave's an engineer, and he helped us physically, and he helped design it. And so this house has been extremely efficient. So we didn't spend money on energy costs like most people have over the years, and that helped us to save money so we could put in all the solar panels, but they aren't on our roof. They're actually on a rack system, because you never know if something's going to damage the roof. And we want shade trees around our house to help keep the place cool in the winter months. So I don't know how I got on to all of this.
I know, but it's lots of information.
So we're probably boring the heck out of everyone right now. But I just wanted to say again, Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you so much for your continued viewing of the videos and giving us thumbs up, comments, and sharing. We really appreciate it an awful lot.
Yeah.
And
you guys have fun in 2024, and we'll make some plans, and then at the end of 24 we'll say, which ones did we really do?
Yeah.
We'll just go with the flow,
And let us know what you're thinking of doing. And the other thing I will say is, we're older now. We've been doing this for many, many years, and so what you see around here is pretty grand, and we've been buying the property gradually over time and developing over time. Don't feel like you'll never get to a point like we're at. Please don't feel that way, discouraged by seeing what we're doing here. I'm hoping to just share with you the mistakes that we make along the way and the modifications, things I do differently now than I would have when I was in my 20s when we first started this whole thing.
Yeah, it was bit by bit. I mean, we started with 1 acre and a trailer and 2 kids.
Yeah, that's right.
And now look what happened.
That's right. Now it's
no kids, great-grandson, and still a bunch of cats.
That's right. Kids, grandkids, and grandson. So that's it for today's video. We really appreciate you watching, and we're actually going to end it this time. And I hope everybody has an absolutely wonderful year. Let us know what your goals and aspirations are, and it always starts with one small step.
Yes.
So
Yes.
take care now, and have a great day.
Take care. We love you. Keep smiling, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.